The red dust of Mars swirled in small eddies around Mars Research Outpost Alpha as the morning sun crept over the horizon. The outpost, a collection of 6 interconnected dome structures, stood alone in the vast Martian desert, humanity's furthest permanent home from Earth. Inside the main dome, Chief Engineer Olivia Grant checked the life support readings while sipping her first coffee of the day. "System nominal," she muttered, pleased with the steady green lights across her monitor. 3 years on Mars had taught her that boring readings were good readings. The peace of the morning routine shattered when the outpost's sensors began wailing with urgent alerts. Olivia nearly dropped her mug as Security Officer Alan Murray burst into the control room, his face flushed with panic. "We've got something big entering orbit," he shouted, pulling up the satellite feed on the main screen. Really big, the image showed a massive object, clearly artificial, sliding into Martian orbit with impossible grace for something its size. The vessel was unlike anything in humanity's space fleet. Its dark hull gleamed with a metallic purple sheen, shaped like a giant arrowhead with strange bulbous structures dotting its surface. "That's not one of ours," Olivia whispered. She hit the general alarm. Within minutes, all 12 members of the outpost crew had gathered in the control room, their faces a mix of fear, confusion, and awe. Dr. Lucas Phillips, the outpost botanist, voiced what everyone was thinking. Are those aliens?" Alan confirmed, his hand resting on his sidearm. "First contact." The room fell silent. Humanity had long speculated about intelligent alien life, but despite all the exploration of the solar system, no conclusive evidence had been found. Until now. The main screen flickered, causing everyone to jump. The satellite feed disappeared, replaced by a strange face. The creature had 4 glowing yellow eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, gray-purple skin that looked tough as leather, and 2 large mandibles clicking nervously around what might have been a mouth. Behind it, other similar beings moved around what was clearly a ship's bridge. Humans. A deep voice rumbled through the speakers. The translation seemed perfect, which was troubling in itself. It meant they'd been studying Earth's languages. "I am Fleet Commander Zixtar of the Zentari Empire. Your planet's resources now fall under our domain. Surrender your outpost or face immediate destruction." The crew exchanged horrified glances. Olivia, as the senior officer present, stepped forward. "This is Chief Engineer Olivia Grant of Mars Research Outpost Alpha. We are a civilian research facility with no military capabilities." She tried to keep her voice from shaking. "We request peaceful dialogue." The alien's mandibles clicked faster, and a sound like grinding metal filled the room. It took a moment for the humans to realize. It was laughter. Peaceful dialogue. Commander Zixtar's voice held amusement and contempt. "Our scouts have monitored your species for decades. You are marked as potentially dangerous, yet physically inferior. The Zentari do not waste resources on lengthy conquests of lesser species." "We're not a military outpost," Olivia insisted. "We're scientists, engineers. Your profession is irrelevant." The alien cut her off. "You will demonstrate your species' capacity for warfare, or we will classify you as defenseless and proceed accordingly." Alan stepped beside Olivia. "And if we refuse your demonstration?" All 4 of the alien's eyes narrowed. "Then your outpost will be the first to fall before we move to your homeworld. The Zentari Empire has conquered 17 stellar systems. Yours will simply be the 18th. The control room fell silent again. Olivia felt the weight of responsibility crushing her shoulders. Earth was unprepared for this threat. The military vessels stationed at the Moon and Earth orbit would be no match for a civilization capable of interstellar travel. "We need time," she said finally, "to prepare our defense systems. Give us 12 Earth hours." The alien commander seemed to consider this. "You have 6 of your Earth hours to prepare your most fearsome beast for combat against our champion. This will determine if your species deserves the honor of formal war or simple subjugation." The screen went black. The crew erupted into panicked voices. "Most fearsome beast? What does that even mean? Are they talking about animals? We're all going to die. Should we try to send a message to Earth?" Quiet, Olivia shouted, and the room fell silent. A message to Earth would take 13 minutes each way. We don't have time for a conversation with Mission Control. Dr. Kate Wilson, the outpost's physician, pushed her glasses up her nose. Why would they want us to present an animal? That makes no sense. Alan frowned. Maybe their culture values combat prowess. They want to see what kind of dangerous creatures Earth has produced. Well, that's just great, muttered Sam Rodriguez, the communications specialist. The most dangerous thing on this outpost is Lucas's. Coffee on Monday morning. A few nervous laughs broke the tension briefly. Olivia paced the room, mind racing. They said beast, not weapon, not soldier. They specifically want an animal. She turned to the crew. Do they know we didn't bring any animals to Mars? Maybe they don't, said Dr. Eli Patel, the geologist. Their scans might not be able to distinguish between different life forms at our outpost. Lucas, who had been unusually quiet, suddenly stepped forward with widening eyes. Actually, that's not entirely true anymore. All heads turned to him. What are you talking about? Alan asked. Lucas looked at Olivia. Remember what came on last month's supply ship? The special package for the psychological well-being study? Realization dawned on Olivia's face. You can't be serious. What? Several voices asked simultaneously. Lucas smiled nervously. We do have one Earth animal on this base, the first non-human mammal on Mars. Alan's jaw dropped. You mean... Yes. Lucas nodded. Buddy? A dog? Dr. Wilson looked incredulous. You want to send a golden retriever to fight aliens? Not to fight, Olivia said slowly, an idea forming. But perhaps to confuse. She turned to the science team. What do we know about the Zentari from that brief encounter? They're clearly insectoid or crustacean-like in appearance, Dr. Patel offered. Exoskeleton, mandibles, multiple eyes, and they specifically asked for a beast, Alan added, which suggests they place value on raw aggression and combat ability. What if, Olivia said, looking from face to face, they've never encountered mammals like dogs before. Their biology seems completely different. They probably evolved on a high-gravity world with a very different atmosphere. Sam nodded excitedly. And if they've been studying humans from a distance, they might not understand our connection to other Earth species. Exactly, Olivia snapped her fingers. They don't understand the concept of companion animals. The room fell silent as everyone considered this idea. So your plan is what exactly? Alan asked. Show them a golden retriever and hope they... What? Get confused? Run away? Olivia straightened her shoulders. We have 6 hours to prepare. Let's gather everything we know about the Zentari from this encounter. Their ship design, their biology, their culture. Anything could be useful. And Lucas? The botanist looked up. Yes. Get Buddy ready for his diplomatic debut. As the crew dispersed to their tasks, Olivia stared at the red Martian landscape outside the dome. Somewhere up there, an alien warship was preparing its champion for battle. The fate of humanity might rest on the shoulders of a dog who couldn't even understand what was happening. But sometimes not understanding was exactly the right approach. Commander Zixtar paced the bridge of the Zentari warship, his clawed feet clicking against the metallic floor. The purple-tinged lights cast eerie shadows across his exoskeleton as he studied the human outpost through the ship's advanced imaging systems. 6 hours was more time than the puny creatures deserved, but he was curious about what beast they might present. Magnify Sector 4, he ordered, and the screen zoomed in on the western module of the human base. Sub-Commander Vexillar approached, with measured steps, careful not to appear too eager or too hesitant. Among the Zentari, proper posture before a superior could mean the difference between promotion and punishment. Commander, Vexillar began, lowering his head slightly, our scouts report minimal defensive capabilities at the human outpost. No energy weapons, no combat vehicles. They appear to be preparing something in their western module, but our sensors cannot penetrate their radiation shielding. Zixtar clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. Radiation shielding? Interesting. Perhaps They have some weapon or creature they believe can challenge us. His upper eyes narrowed while his lower eyes continued to monitor the screen. These humans are strange creatures, soft with no natural armor. Yet they have spread across their solar system with remarkable speed. They are resourceful, Vexlar agreed carefully, but physically inferior to even the weakest Zentari warrior. Never underestimate desperation, Zixtar said, turning away from the screen. I've seen smaller species fight with surprising ferocity when cornered. He straightened to his full height, nearly 3 meters tall, and his mandibles spread wide, in what passed for a smile among his kind. Prepare the Graknar for combat. Let us show these humans what a true beast looks like. Vexlar's 4 eyes widened. The Graknar? Is that necessary for such a primitive species? The High Command expects results, Zixtar replied coldly. If these humans are as weak as we believe, the Graknar will make quick work of whatever creature they present. A swift conquest is an efficient conquest. The sub-commander bowed and backed away to carry out the orders. In the depths of the warship, 3 levels below the bridge, a specialized containment sector housed the pride of the Zentari military's bioweapon division. 2 nervous technicians prepared a series of injections as they approached a massive reinforced chamber. Last feeding was 26 cycles ago, the first technician reported. The Graknar should be properly motivated for combat. Hungry, you mean? The second technician muttered, inputting the security code with trembling fingers. The heavy door slid open with a hydraulic hiss, revealing a dimly lit chamber. A low growl emerged from the shadows, followed by the scrape of claws against metal flooring. The creature inside shifted its massive bulk, and 4 glowing red eyes blinked open. The Graknar was a true horror, a genetically engineered killing machine that combined the deadliest aspects of various species from across the Zentari Empire. Standing 3 meters tall with thick armored plates covering its body, 6 limbs ending in razor-sharp claws, and acid glands capable of dissolving metal, it had been created for one purpose: to destroy enemies of the Empire. The first technician raised the injection gun. Combat stimulants ready. This will enhance aggression and pain tolerance. Meanwhile, in the western module of the Mars outpost, Lucas Phillips paced nervously around the small hydroponics lab that had become his private quarters. Plants of various species lined the walls, his official research projects and personal hobby combined. But his attention wasn't on the plants today. Instead, he watched as Olivia Grant and Alan Murray knelt before his roommate. "So you want me to what exactly?" Lucas asked, looking bewildered. "I'm still trying to understand the plan here." Olivia reached out to the small furry creature that was enthusiastically licking her hand. "We need to borrow Buddy for an important mission." Buddy, a 2-year-old golden retriever with honey-colored fur and bright eyes, wagged his tail at the sound of his name. His pink tongue lolled out of his mouth as he soaked up the attention from the visitors. "You want to send my dog to fight aliens?" Lucas's voice cracked with disbelief. That's insane. He's not a weapon. He's barely even finished his basic training." Buddy had arrived on the last supply ship from Earth, the first dog ever to set paw on Martian soil. He was part of a psychological well-being experiment for the long-term residents of the outpost. Studies had long shown that interaction with pets reduced stress and improved mental health for space travelers. Buddy was both an experiment and a morale booster, and had quickly become the most popular crew member at Outpost Alpha. "Not to fight," Alan clarified, scratching Buddy behind the ears. "We've analyzed what little data we captured from their communications. These Zentari have never encountered Earth mammals before. Their biology is completely different. They're more like insects or crustaceans with exoskeletons instead of internal bones." Dr. Kate Wilson walked into the lab carrying a tablet. "I've been reviewing the visual data from our brief communication. Based on their physical characteristics, I believe they evolved on a high-gravity world with a toxic atmosphere, probably methane-based. Their biochemistry would be fundamentally different from Earth life." "They've been studying humans from a distance," Olivia added, "but they've never seen our companion species. The concept of keeping animals as friends rather than food or tools would be completely foreign to them. Lucas frowned, rubbing his temple. And you think what? That Buddy will confuse them somehow? Better, Alan said with a small grin. We think they'll be completely unprepared for him. Kate nodded enthusiastically. Think about it. Buddy represents everything the Zentari aren't. They've got exoskeletons, he has fur. They likely have a hierarchical warrior culture. He's friendly and affectionate. They expect a fierce beast, he's a lovable goofball. The Zentari asked for our most fearsome beast, Olivia explained. They're expecting something with claws and fangs that we've trained to attack on command. But what they'll get is something entirely different, Alan finished. A creature whose power isn't in physical strength but in forming emotional bonds. Buddy, seemingly aware he was the center of attention, rolled over to present his belly for scratches. Lucas couldn't help but smile despite his concerns. You really think this will work? That my dog can somehow save humanity from alien invasion? Sam. Rodriguez stuck his head through the doorway. The environmental suit is ready. It's been modified from the prototype we were developing for future animal studies. Olivia stood up. We don't need Buddy to fight, Lucas. We just need him to be himself. The most unexpected, unpredictable representative of Earth we could possibly send. Lucas looked down at his furry friend, who gazed back with complete trust and affection in his brown eyes. And if your plan doesn't work? He asked quietly. Alan's expression grew serious. Then at least we tried something unexpected. Better than surrendering without a fight. Buddy won't be in danger, Olivia promised. If things go wrong, we'll bring him back immediately. Lucas took a deep breath and nodded slowly. Okay, but I'm coming too. He trusts me, and he'll be scared in a new environment with his special suit on. Deal, Olivia agreed. Now let's get him ready. We have less than 4 hours until we need to face the Zentari. The Martian sky burned orange-red as the sun hung low on the horizon. The shadow of the massive Zentari warship stretched across the dusty landscape like a dark promise. 6 hours had passed since the alien ultimatum, and now the time had come for humanity's response. Inside the airlock of Mars Outpost Alpha, Olivia Grant checked the seals on her environmental suit one last time. The red indicator light blinked green, confirming proper pressurization. Beside her, Alan Murray loaded a small stun pistol, their only weapon, into his belt holster. This is still the craziest plan I've ever been part of, he muttered, his voice slightly distorted through the helmet's communication system. Got any better ideas? Olivia asked, forcing a smile she didn't feel. No, Alan admitted. But that doesn't make this one good. Lucas Phillips entered the airlock, carefully, carrying what looked like a small transparent container. Inside, Buddy sat patiently, wearing what had to be the most unique piece of equipment ever created on Mars. A custom-designed dog environmental suit. The outpost's engineering team had worked frantically over the last few hours, modifying a prototype animal research suit to fit the golden retriever. The canine spacesuit was a marvel of impromptu engineering. It covered Buddy's body completely, with a clear bubble helmet that allowed him full visibility. Special padding protected his paws, and a small air recycling unit on his back provided breathable atmosphere. The suit even included speakers to allow his barks to be heard outside and a treat dispenser that Lucas could activate remotely. How's he doing? Olivia asked. Lucas checked the vital signs display on his wrist computer. Heart rate slightly elevated, but nothing concerning. He thinks we're playing a new game. He knelt down to look through the clear helmet at his furry friend. Don't you, Buddy, just a new game. Buddy wagged his tail inside the suit, completely trusting of his human companions despite the strange gear he wore. Dr. Kate Wilson's voice came through their helmet comms. Remember, we'll be monitoring everything from here. The suit has cameras and sensors, so we'll see what Buddy sees. The moment anything seems dangerous, we abort, Olivia reminded everyone. We're not risking Buddy's life for this. The outer airlock door hissed open, revealing the rust-colored Martian surface. The 3 humans stepped out carefully, Buddy's container held securely in Alan's arms. They had agreed to meet the aliens at a point halfway between the outpost and where the Zentari ship now rested on massive landing struts about a kilometer away. They're watching us, Alan said quietly, nodding toward the alien vessel. Its surface rippled with strange lights, and what appeared to be weapon ports tracked their movement. The walk to the meeting point took nearly 15 minutes, each step heavy with dread and hope intermingled. None of them spoke. What was there to say when the fate of humanity might rest on a dog's natural friendliness? When they reached the designated area, a flat expanse of Martian soil, they stopped and waited. The comms crackled to life. Humans. Commander Zixtar's voice boomed across the Martian landscape through external speakers. You have arrived at the appointed time. This shows basic intelligence at least. Olivia stepped forward, trying to project confidence she didn't feel. Commander Zixtar, we have brought our champion as requested. Excellent, the alien voice replied. Present your beast so that combat may begin. Alan carefully set down the container on the Martian soil, and the three humans moved back several steps. Lucas pulled out a small remote control device. Great Commander of the Zentari, Olivia announced formally, trying to add some theatrical flair to their presentation. We present Earth's faithful companion and loyal protector. He has stood beside humans for thousands of years, helping us survive and thrive against all odds. Stop wasting time with words, Zixtar growled impatiently. Release your beast. Lucas pressed a button on his remote, and the container's sides folded open. Buddy bounded out, his suit allowing him surprising mobility despite its protective layers. He looked around curiously through his clear helmet, taking in the alien landscape with apparent excitement. Through the communication system, they could hear confused chittering from the alien ship. What manner of deception is this? Zixtar demanded, voice rising with anger. Where is your beast, your weapon? This is our beast, Alan replied calmly. On Earth we call them dogs. This particular breed is known as a golden retriever. They have been our companions and protectors for thousands of years. They guard our homes, find lost people, comfort the sick, and stand by us through every hardship, Lucas added, a genuine note of pride in his voice. The Zentari ship remained, silent for nearly a full minute. Then Commander Zixtar's voice returned, dripping with contempt. You mock us. This small, soft creature is your champion? This is how you represent your species' strength? Buddy, oblivious to the tension, sat down on the Martian soil and tilted his head curiously at the massive ship above. His tail thumped, inside the environmental suit, kicking up small puffs of red dust. Unleash your true beast immediately, Zixtar roared, mandibles clicking furiously beneath his words. Lucas stepped forward, patting his thigh to call Buddy to his side. You mean this cute pup? This is it. This is our champion. The silence from the ship was deafening. Then, with a grinding sound of heavy machinery, a hatch opened in the underside of the vessel. A ramp extended slowly to the surface, and a cloud of alien atmosphere briefly billowed out before dispersing in the thin Martian air. Down the ramp came a nightmare-made flesh. The three humans gasped at the same moment as the Graknar emerged, its massive form moving with surprising agility, despite Mars's lower gravity. Standing nearly 3 meters tall, the creature resembled nothing they had seen before. Its body was covered in thick armored plates that overlapped like medieval armor. 6 muscular limbs ended in claws that left deep gouges in the Martian soil as it moved. But most terrifying was its head, a grotesque combination of insect and reptile, with multiple rows of needle-sharp teeth and 4 glowing red eyes that fixed hungrily on the small group of humans. Our champion will destroy your pitiful offering, Zixtar announced with obvious satisfaction. The Graknar has never been defeated in combat. The 3 humans instinctively moved closer together as the monster approached. Buddy, sensing the change in his human's posture, stood up alert. Should we retreat? Alan whispered urgently. That thing could tear through our suits in seconds. Wait, Olivia said, watching Buddy carefully. Let's see what happens. The Graknar continued its approach, saliva dripping from its mouth and sizzling where it hit the Martian soil. Some kind of acid, Olivia realized with growing horror. The creature was now just 50 meters away and picking up speed. Then Buddy did what any friendly dog would do when seeing a new potential playmate. He barked happily and bounded toward the alien monster, tail wagging energetically inside his protective suit. "Buddy, no," Lucas cried out, fumbling with the remote control that could activate the recall system in the dog's suit. But it was too late. Buddy was already halfway to the Graknar, moving with the joyful gallop of a dog who has just spotted a new friend at the park. The Graknar stopped suddenly. It had never encountered such behavior from prey. Every creature it had faced in combat had either attacked aggressively or fled in terror. This small furry thing was doing neither. It was approaching, willingly. The monster tilted its massive head in confusion as Buddy reached it, circling excitedly, trying to sniff it through his helmet, his whole body wiggling with friendly enthusiasm. The Graknar took a step back, then another. Its programming had prepared it for combat against creatures that either fought or fled, not for a small animal that showed no fear whatsoever and seemed happy to see it. "Buddy, come," Lucas called nervously, finally getting the recall signal to work. But before Buddy responded to the command, something unexpected happened. The Graknar, the deadliest creation of Zentari bioengineering, the undefeated champion of alien conquest, turned around and began walking back toward the ship. Was retreating. Commander Zixtar stared at the viewscreen in disbelief. The Graknar, the most feared bioweapon in the Zentari arsenal, a creature that had torn through the defenses of countless worlds, was retreating from a small furry animal. His mandibles clicked rapidly in agitation as the bridge crew watched in stunned silence. "Impossible," he finally bellowed, slamming a clawed fist against his command console. "The Graknar fears nothing. Override its neural controls and force it to attack, Sub-Commander." Vexler approached cautiously, studying the readings on his datapad. "Commander, I'm not certain that's the issue. Our bioanalysis indicates the Earth creature is emitting unusual chemical signals. They appear to be..." He paused, searching for the right word. "Happiness." "Happiness?" Zixtar repeated the unfamiliar concept as if it were poison on his tongue. "Yes, Commander. And the Earth beast shows no aggression or fear response whatsoever. The Graknar's hunting programming is confused. It's designed to respond to creatures that either attack or flee. This does neither." On the Martian surface, the three humans watched in astonishment as the mighty alien creature continued to back away from Buddy. The golden retriever, still oblivious to the danger he had been in, did something that left both humans and aliens completely baffled. He playfully bowed, front paws extended forward and rear end high in the air, tail wagging enthusiastically. "He's inviting it to play," Lucas whispered in awe. "That's his play bow." The Graknar froze, its 6 limbs rigid with uncertainty. The massive alien predator, faced with behavior it could not comprehend, did the only thing its limited programming allowed when confronted with an unknown threat. It turned completely around and lumbered back toward the ship at full speed. "Retrieve the Graknar immediately," they heard Zixtar order through the communication system, his voice a mixture of rage and confusion. As the monster scurried awkwardly up the ramp, Buddy tried to follow, still hoping to make a new friend. Lucas quickly pressed the recall button on his remote, and the dog reluctantly turned back toward the humans. "Good boy," Lucas said as Buddy returned to his side, reaching down to pat the clear helmet. "Very good boy." The 3 humans stood still, uncertain what to do next. The Zentari ship remained ominously silent, its weapons port still tracking their every movement. Finally, Olivia stepped forward. "The combat has concluded," she announced formally. "Your champion has retreated. By your own terms, we have won this confrontation." There was a long pause before Zixtar responded. "This was not combat," he said slowly. "Your beast did not attack." "No," Alan replied. "Because Buddy isn't a weapon. He's our companion. Humans don't use animals for war anymore. We form bonds with them based on mutual respect and affection." Another silence followed, even longer than before. The humans exchanged nervous glances, wondering if they had somehow made things worse. Inside the Zentari ship, Commander Zixtar paced the bridge, his 4 eyes blinking in different patterns. a sign of deep confusion among his species. The crew watched him cautiously, no one daring to speak first. "Bring up all our data on human history," he finally ordered. The main view screen filled with images from Earth's past. Ancient cave paintings showing humans hunting alongside wolves, Egyptian tomb art depicting cats as household companions, medieval tapestries with noble hounds, and modern footage of service dogs guiding the blind and comforting the sick. "They have allied with other species," Vexlar observed with wonder. "Not through conquest or control, but through, what did the human call it? Mutual respect? And affection," Zixtar added quietly. He studied the images for several more minutes. "In all our conquests across 17 star systems, we have never encountered this approach to other life forms." He turned to his communications officer. "Open the channel again." Back on the Martian surface, the humans were discussing whether they should return to the outpost when Zixtar's voice crackled through their helmets once more. "Your dog showed no fear of a creature designed to terrorize the most hardened warriors," the alien commander said slowly. "It sought connection? Explain this behavior." Lucas knelt beside Buddy, who was pawing playfully at the red Martian soil. "That's what dogs do. They connect. They trust. It's their nature to be friendly and seek relationships with others." He looked up at the massive ship. "It's why we love them." "Love." The alien commander seemed to taste the word. "You keep these creatures not for combat but for emotional bonding?" "Exactly," Olivia confirmed. "Earth has many animals, but dogs have been our companions for thousands of years. They protect us not because we force them to, but because they choose to. They comfort us when we're sad. They guide those who cannot see. They find people lost in disasters. They're part of our families." The communication went silent again. The three humans waited anxiously, each second stretching into what felt like hours. Buddy, tired from his adventure, lay down on the Martian soil, resting his head on his paws inside the helmet. Finally, Zixtar's voice returned, noticeably different in tone. "Humans of Mars Outpost Alpha, the Zentari Empire has reconsidered its assessment of your species." The humans held their breath. "Any beings that can inspire such loyalty in another species without force or control possess qualities worthy of further study. We propose a diplomatic exchange rather than conquest." The relief among the humans was palpable. Buddy, sensing their change in mood, barked happily and spun in a circle, kicking up puffs of red dust. "Your dog has demonstrated a power our species does not understand," Zixtar continued. "The ability to form bonds across species barriers without domination. Perhaps there is much we can learn from each other." 1 month later, the first official diplomatic mission from Earth arrived at Mars, bringing with them a carefully selected team of negotiators, scientists, and at the specific request of Commander Zixtar, a variety of dogs. The initial cultural exchange program between humans and Zentari would later be known as the Canine Accord, marking the beginning of an alliance between two vastly different species. In the newly constructed dome at Outpost Alpha, expanded with Zentari technology to accommodate both human and alien visitors, Lucas Phillips watched as Commander Zixtar awkwardly offered a treat to Buddy. The alien's massive clawed hand looked comically large next to the dog's gentle muzzle, but Buddy showed no fear as he delicately took the treat. "I still do not understand," the commander said, all 4 of his eyes blinking in different patterns as Buddy licked his clawed hand afterward. "Why does he not bite when he could?" "Because he trusts you," Lucas explained. "Dogs are excellent judges of character. He knows you won't hurt him." "But how does he know? We are predators by nature. So were wolves, the ancestors of dogs once upon a time, but over thousands of years they evolved alongside us. They became attuned to our emotions, our signals, and we to theirs." Dr. Kate Wilson, now serving as the chief xenobiologist for the Human-Zentari exchange, joined them with her tablet. "It's fascinating, really. Our preliminary brain scans show that dogs and humans actually release the same hormones when they interact positively. Oxytocin, the bonding chemical. We're literally wired to love each other." Zixtar's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. And you believe such bonds could form between different species? It's happening already, Kate said with a smile, nodding toward Buddy, who was now happily letting a young Zentari scientist, who looked distinctly uncomfortable, stroke his fur. For the Zentari, whose civilization had evolved through strict hierarchies and competition, the concept of cross-species cooperation based on mutual affection rather than dominance was revolutionary. Their scientists were already studying the implications for their society, their military, doctrine, and their approach to newly discovered worlds. Our conquests have brought us resources and territory, Zixtar admitted quietly to Lucas. But not this. He gestured to where several off-duty Zentari were watching in fascination as Buddy demonstrated his repertoire of tricks for treats. Not friendship, Lucas offered. Yes, friendship. The commander's voice contained a note of wonder. Perhaps that is a resource more valuable than all the minerals on this planet. Buddy, finished with his performance, trotted back to Lucas and Zixtar, tail wagging as he looked up at them both with the simple, uncomplicated happiness that only dogs seem capable of expressing. I still don't understand, Zixtar said, watching as Buddy chased after a ball thrown by one of the human diplomats. Why he brings the ball back when he worked so hard to catch it. Lucas smiled. That's the thing about dogs, Commander. They find joy in the simplest things and in sharing that joy with others. It was a lesson that would transform two civilizations, beginning on the red sands of Mars with a golden retriever named Buddy, who simply didn't know that aliens were supposed to be scary. And in future years, when the first Zentari human joint colony was established on a distant world, the monument at its center would not depict weapons or conquest, but a simple statue of a human and an alien, with a dog sitting happily between them. End of story.